emphasize that for piece of marketing, for global marketing, is very different than the concept is the same thing, promotion, you're promoting something and all that, but it's very, very different than what you do in your local market. Your final project has a special section for 4Ps, so you have to really dig into it to see the culture of the country and rules and regulations, right? For example, let's just start with product. You know the 4Ps of marketing: product, promotion, price, and place, right? Let's just start with product. The product, first of all, is the attributes of the products, right? How the features, how it looks, the changes that needs to be made. As we said, as long as it's not standardized products, which is mostly for business to business industries, the rest of it, like metals, steel sheets and all that, the rest must be customized, or if not customized, just modified to as far as measurement and sizes, everything, to fit the new market. For example, even the voltage for the outlets, right? That's the smallest thing, but it needs to be changed. That's a level of modification instead of customization. A good example for product was IKEA. When IKEA entered the US market, the flower vase that they had, people actually purchased it for glasses, like beer glasses, whatever they thought it is, because over there, their size of the flower vase is as big as what we drink in, right? So they had to, next time, they had to make sure that they put flowers and they put something on it that this is only for flowers, it's not for drinking. The other one, so that's the customization, right? They had to change the size and everything. Now the other thing was when IKEA entered to Japan, they have noticed that their bed sizes are too big, so they had to, and it's not as big as American made, because IKEA is Sweden made, right? They noticed that they had to shrink the sizes, basically small it down, because the rooms and spaces in Japan are very, very small, so it wouldn't fit into the room. The other one was when Pampers, Procter & Gamble, introduced its Pampers products to Japan. They have noticed that people are not buying Pampers products, even though they're happy with the quality of products, they're not buying that. After the research, they've noticed that it is because of the sizes, huge packages of Pampers package. Because in Japan, they do daily purchasing because there's not a huge storage at home. So they don't have garage like storage that we have here. They put it in a very small closet. So the purchase must be on a daily basis. They have to basically resize, change the size of the packages. These are just small examples of product modifications. Now, if it's huge, for example, you don't take products, beer products to Saudi Arabia, for example. Those are something, or to United Arab Emirates, or any other mainly theocratic countries. You don't take them to those countries because the product itself it's a illegal or forbidden product, and it's not accepted in society. Now, in your case, I don't remember anybody specifically, but a couple of you guys do have consumer products, right? Especially if you guys have food products, right? So when it comes to food products, you really need to change it. You definitely need to customize it. The operation stays the same, for example, McDonald's and other franchises, but the products on the menu, it needs to be changed. It needs to completely be customized to local taste. For example, in India, you have to offer veggie more than beef. They changed it in India. They have the McDonald's. First of all, McDonald's in India, which we're going to talk about the marketing strategy in this chapter too. As we said, McDonald's here in the United States, that's why I was against Big Mac Index, because sometimes it's artificially like jacked up the prices just to keep it for rich people, for example. In the United States, McDonald's is for almost everyone. Everyone can afford having an item from McDonald's menu. Now in India, they increased the prices a little bit because they wanted to make sure it's for above average families. Now in Africa, for example, in Nigeria, also not McDonald's, but other, because they don't have McDonald's, but other franchises, they do the same thing. American fast food, or other fast foods, they increase the prices because they want to make sure it's only for certain group of people. Here, we see organic food very expensive. Over there, organic foods are cheap, and junk food actually is expensive, which is at least better. So, but not everybody can access those junk food, right? Because that's how they made it to be for a certain group of people. So if you have food items, you have to make sure that you're completely modifying, customizing to local taste. Consumer products needs to be modified. For example, even cars, automobiles. A lot of automobiles in Norway, automobiles, when they import automobiles to Norway, they actually disable the honk, the horn. In Germany, even though BMW and Mercedes are made in Germany, which they made in Germany, but the cup holder that we have in the United States, they don't have it in there, in the middle console, because they don't. It's not their culture to drink and drive. Not drinking driving, but like coffee drinking driving. It's not in their culture. So they remove that part. They don't have that part. When they bring it here, they actually put an extra option there. So there are even cars that you think it might be standardized. There's some features that they change. That's as far as products. The next one is promotion. Now promotion, I'm going to show you guys a video. Promotion is very different. For example, some cultures you don't want to promote to try for 30 days free. You don't want to give them samples because nobody's going to buy from you anymore. Because they try that one and that's it, right? So they try for 30 days and that's it. They're not going to try it anymore. Or they eat so many times, just like Costco. We go there to eat so many times and then you don't buy it because you get full. So these type of things for some cultures is not effective. So you shouldn't be handing over free samples. The other thing is that they would think it's probably a low quality product. That's why you're giving it for free because you want to get rid of it. So there's different promotion sites. Buy one, get one free. You shouldn't be doing that in many cultures. Usually in developing or emerging markets, you shouldn't be doing that. Most of the times in those cultures, developing or emerging markets, because we call it emerging markets, because a huge group of middle-income population, low-income populations are joining middle-income population. That newly middle-income populations, they don't want to associate with low-income anymore, right? So therefore, they want to make sure that they're buying something expensive. That's why when it comes to prices, sometimes when you lower the prices, those populations, if you're targeting those populations, they wouldn't buy it. They prefer the price to be higher than average, so they show that they could carry this brand or this product or whatever it is. So for those emerging markets, it's very important to know their strategy, what they think. For established developed markets, especially like Europe, that wouldn't matter. If the price probably wouldn't matter. The quality matters most. Brazil, brand matters a lot. They would be willing to give up a lot of things, but they have just that big brand, for example. So that's why you have to be very careful about the promotion strategy. Pricing as well. When we say here $14.99 or something like that, in many countries it doesn't work. So they feel like you're fooling them. They feel like you believe like you're more smart, you're smarter than them, so you can fool them. They don't like that type of things. But they rather to be $15.50, for example, even, rather than $14.99. So you have to have it, you never go very close to the next number because they don't like it that way and it doesn't work with them. Price discrimination. You will see a lot in other countries around the world, not so much in the United States. That means you don't have the tag of the prices on the products, items, because they will look at you and they will probably look at your car and they will decide how much you have to pay. Just like Mexico, I guess, right? As soon as you're a tourist, you pay higher because they look at you. And when you're a local person and you look exactly like one of them over there, you probably can pay lower, right? So they don't have tag price on the products. Versus here, it really doesn't matter. The price is there and everybody pays the same thing. So that's price discrimination. Here we have only two types of price discriminations. One is for students and one is for senior citizens. That would be it in general. But many other countries, you'll see a lot of price discrimination. As far as advertising, again, going back to promotion and advertising, the advertising should be very appropriate for that culture. For example, in the United States, We use a lot of models. We love to use hot models here. Remember, Jack in the Box has a very hot models eating Jack in the Box. Like you really don't see even the burger, right? So because you're focusing on the model, which is called noise, which is distraction. So in developed countries, especially particularly United States, noise level is very high. But we're not talking about noise in particular, but we're talking about distraction. So distraction is very high. In Korea, they do the same thing. They would love to hire hot models because they're following the United States trend. In Japan, a lot of focus is on cartoon characters. Everything is based on cartoon characters. They would love to see a lot of cartoons in their advertisements. In India, you will probably see a lot of dance and a lot of people in their advertising. Group of friends, group of whatever, but it's a lot of people in their advertising. In the Middle East, it's family mostly, like father is with daughter or mom with their kids. So you see a family settings. In Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, they have a storytelling, and it's mostly touching. So it has to be touching like 2-3 minutes, and it's touching because they're telling you a story that you basically gets your attention. Here, it doesn't get our attention, correct? So we're just, as soon as we see advertising coming up, we just flip to next channel. So this is basically to grab the attention. I'm going to show a couple advertising around the world, how it works. Like Coke, for example, has different types of advertising around the world. And the last one is place. Place actually, for example, in the United States, we would like to sell or have our business in big shopping malls, strip malls, or department stores. That's a big area for shopping. Everything is under the same roof. It's more, it more interests us, right? Everything under the same roof. But in many other countries, including you go to Mexico, you will see that, Latin America, India, you'll see small mom and pop shops. Or a lot of, in India particularly, a lot of stands, like standalone stands you will see. Now, you have to understand that it makes it very difficult. Those small stores and stands, they make it very difficult for logistics because it's not located in one area. It's very dispersed in a huge country like Brazil or India or China. It's dispersed all around the nation. It makes it very difficult for big logistic companies, transportation companies to get there. So what they do, they divide it into smaller actually entities all the way to reaches the last customer, consumers. For example, when Haagen-Dazs wanted to enter to Brazil, Brazil has very remote areas. It's a huge country with very remote areas. So what they did, even though Haagen-Dazs likes to see control, more control, but what they did, they actually gave licenses to people, individuals, so they carry carts. So those cart basically owners, they come to town once a week, they fill up their carts, and then they take it up to the mountains, which nobody else would go there. Like transportation wouldn't want to go there, only local people go there. So they decided to do that. Here in the United States and other developed countries, we do actually have a lot more enhanced and advanced transportation and logistics. So what happens is that our logistics is shorter. The transportation is shorter than over there. Now, it's not as far as the transportation distance is shorter, as far as entities involved in the chain is shorter. Here, because it's advanced, we have a distribution center, warehouses, and it goes all the way to big, huge department stores, Macy's, whatever they are, right? But over there in the other countries, it's like different entities. From the big cities goes to region, and then from there go to smaller towns, and then all the way. So there are too many different entities involved, and makes it a lot more difficult for foreigners to enter into those markets. So for your projects, you need to know the country or your choice, the host market, what is their logistics or transportation advancement? Are they very advanced like United States? Even though in Japan they're very advanced, but they're still very exclusive. They don't allow anybody to enter into their distribution centers at all. They keep it only for Japanese. Japanese are a very homogeneous country, and they don't allow foreigners to come in, or immigrants or foreigners to enter into their industries. So but some countries, for example, Korea is very advanced as far as electronics. It's one of the most advanced countries, or the most advanced country in the world. Now, about 15 years ago, I remember in Korea, what they did, the first time they had a big picture, huge picture on their subway stations on the wall that had the picture of products with barcodes on it. So people could scan the barcode, and this is 15 years ago, scan the barcode using their cell phone, and because the cell phone was linked to their credit card, they could purchase it and order the products. And by the time they would get home, the product is ready at the door in a basket for them. That was about 15, 16 years ago for the first time when they started doing that. But still, we don't see that here. Now, over there, you can do a lot of online business because of the advancement in technology. So that's what you need to know if you want to do online business, you want to do here like big department stores, or like India or Brazil, for example, very small little mom and pop shops. Now let's see which parts I have to cover, and then I'll show you guys a lot of. Now, market segment is also very important too. You have to have exact market. Well, segment is a group of people, big group of people who share the same characteristics. For example, all of us here, we share at least one characteristic, which we all live in Southern California. That's our geographic characteristics, right? They can put us in one group as a segment because all of us have at least one common characteristics. However, it will be very difficult to sell all of us the same product, right? Because we have so many different other characters coming in, like gender, age, income, education. All of us are very, very different. That would be your target market. The next level, so the bigger picture is segment. The next level, when you want to really focus, that would be your target market. Your segment could be by geography, demography, and sociocultural factors or psychological factors. For example, some people want to show off. Some cultures, they're into show off. Some cultures, they're not. They're very conservative. They can have actually Germans, they can have, or European, non-European, they can have a lot of money, but you wouldn't even notice that at all. Versus some other cultures, as we said, especially emerging market, as soon as they have a little bit of money, they want to definitely show off with their car because it's the first thing you can show off. So those are basically your psychological factors. How you're outdoorsy, or you want to be a lot of like sports stuff, always in sports attire, or no, probably you want to have expensive brand names. Sociocultural factors, as I said, like education, income. So even though you're talking about the country specifically, you have to know your target market, and I think it's one part of your paper too, that you have to choose your target market. For example, the reason I said that here, what does it have to do with global marketing? These days, the research shows a doctor in India has more in common in their purchasing behavior with a doctor in the United States than their own people. So that's why it's very important. They say why your sociocultural factors, characteristics, your income, age, education, it actually gives you more in common with another country, with another culture, rather than with your own people. So an Indian physician, probably very well-known surgeon, has more in common with an American surgeon in the same position rather than with its own people in India. Especially India is huge, it has a huge gap between poor and rich. Because of that, we talked about like golf clubs, right? Golf equipments. Right now, all around the world, they would like to have American-made, expensive golf equipment because they want to say it's exported from the United States, made in the United States, and we use exactly the same price. So these are other factors that we can consider about culture, tradition, sociocultural, social structure, language, religion, education. Please notice one country, for example, especially when the country is very heterogeneous, like India and Brazil, one size doesn't fit all. You have to adjust it, customize it into different subcultures. For example, that's what McDonald's did when they entered into India. they had no idea about, the first time they entered, they had to pull out and then go back again. They had no idea what they're doing. Even though, like, you would think that, how is it possible if I wouldn't know, right? What they did, they entered with like burgers and all that, which most of the huge Indian population, they don't eat beef, right? Meat, any kind of meat. Now the Muslims that do eat meat, it has to be halal meat. So it was just a huge mess. First thing, they pulled it out, and then what they did, they entered back into the country. They did actually subsections of the restaurants. So when you go there, one part they sell burgers and everything, halal burgers, and then the other part they sell veggie. It's under the same roof. But even though they sell veggie, if the workers that are working there, they're trained. When they go from this part to the other part, they have to change everything, gloves, aprons, everything. So that's why Brazil is like that too. They have a lot of different cultures, mixed cultures in Brazil. It's very easy in Japan and South Korea, very homogeneous cultures. Probably one customization will fit everybody in the country. So, social structure, it's about the casting that I said, how huge India is a casting society. Very different, that's what McDonald's is like for this particular level of the society. In India, everything is caste oriented. What family you belong to, it's not what you know basically, or what is your degree, it's like what family you belong to. It's not particularly India, it's a lot of countries like that, Philippines is like that, Russia is like that too. But the reason that they say India is because of the largest, and it's the largest emerging market right now in the world. That's why we use the example of India. But Philippines has a huge gap too, which is basically, you cannot move, if you're born very poor, you cannot move to the high status in society, because the social mobility is very minimal. It's not high, a lot of social mobility. Language, as we said, different languages are practiced, especially in India. In Africa too, I was in South Africa, 91 languages, local languages they speak. India, I think it's 500, how many languages do you know that? Six. Yeah, it's about like, I know it's about 5 languages, different languages that you use, but in South Africa, 91 local languages. In Nigeria, 255 tribes live there with different cultures. And in each of them, they speak with each other, but each of them, they do have their own local dialect too. So it's very difficult to serve the entire country looking at it as one customized basic product. Religion, as I said, religious. Some countries like Nigeria, India, they live half and half Christian, half Muslim. And education too. Education level, for example, these days for Koreans, it's extremely important. Everything has to, when you market any product, it has to emphasize on what does it offer as education to society, to kids specifically. I want to go back to all of those. Channel link, this talks about the channel link that I mentioned. Country of origin does have a lot of effect in countries. Remember I said India, Tata Motors in India acquired Range Rover and Land Rover and Jaguar in 2009, right? Up until today, nobody has heard about it, because country of origin, if it does not benefit you, never advertise that, because it is very important. It's one of the factors that people would purchase a product, for example. If you have two products, if you have, I don't know, perfume made in France or made in China, which one would you buy? And you have not tried any of them, they smell to you same, but you still, and same price. You probably would prefer, definitely would grab the made in France, right? The same thing, chocolate, made in Swiss or made in China or somewhere else. You probably haven't tasted, but because of the country of origin, you would go with the one that is more familiar to you. So therefore, country of origin is important. If it does not benefit the company, they don't advertise. If it does benefit, they start advertising on that one. Noise level, as I said, is the distractions. We're going to talk about that. Pull a strategy and push a strategy. Push a strategy is the one that basically pushes with marketing to the market. Pull a strategy is when the advertising is so good, people basically already buy it from the shelves, so they don't need to push it. the marketing is so good, media advertising is so good, people already are interested in the product. Product price elasticity. Do you guys have any idea about price elasticity? Probably in your economics you covered that one. Price elasticity basically is that elastic products are the ones that respond to price change. That means if a price is higher, if they change the price from $10 to $20, you respond. You don't buy it anymore. That basically you're responding to a price change, right? Inelastic products are the ones that when the gas is, I remember first time was 98 cents I pumped. And I'm still pumping, and I pumped in 2011 almost $5, right? So, but did I change? No. I'm just buying the same amount, same thing. So those are inelastic products. Now, depending on your product and the ability for people to purchasing power of your target market, you have to come up with the right pricing strategy. Now, please, this is very important for your project. Do not tell me the exact price. Give me the price strategy. Exact price, don't tell me like you were going to sell McDonald's or like Big Mac for $1.99 or whatever. Give me the price strategy. Are you going by industry average, like whatever the industry is, you're going to look into the current industry, average up, this is where I want to say. You're going with one competition, you choose the closest to you and you change with them, right? The other one is the markup price. You basically see what is my cost in total, and then I add 10% markup. That's it. I don't care what the other ones are doing in the market. I just have to make 10% in the market. The other strategy is, for example, you want to lower really, really low your prices to gain market share. That's basically gaining market share. Or, and then everybody, when you gain market share, they switch from competitors to you. After 5 years, you're going to increase your prices. Now, skimming strategy is another one. Skimming strategy is, for example, iPhone did that one. They started, first time when they started selling iPhone, they started with $800, and then it went down. Skimming strategy is when you start with very high price, and then you lower it little by little. So give me all these strategies, and one by one in details, how did you implement it, okay? Now, if you come up with the exact price at the end, that would be fine, but not just the price. The strategy all the way, and then you can give me the price too. Talk about all of this in other. Okay, this is just research and development. Yes.
So if the country that we're in right now has a price strategy already, like a focus on what it is that they work on, and you believe that that price or that particular strategy that they have should be changed in order for that company to enter into that market, is that something that you would want to know?
But the company shouldn't be in the market as of now.
They're not.
That's what I'm saying. So I thought you were saying that the company is already in. Oh, they have a pricing strategy here in place.
Yes.
Okay, no, your strategy must be changed over there.
It has to.
Yeah. Well, usually, unless your country is like Canada, like very close to United States, their currency exchange, everything is almost very same.
Mm-hmm.
You don't change it much. You still change, but not much. But usually your pricing strategy should change. Yeah. What is your country?
Africa.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure, you guys need to change that. All strategy, as I said, emerging markets have very different strategies.